for y'all. But they continue to go on and talk about Alan Jackson's thoughts behind what's going on with the investigation here, because they're still collecting a lot of evidence now that kind of they've got the cuffs off when it comes to looking into John O'Keefe, finding out about Chloe, as we heard from Charles. So let's see what AJ has to say here.
Not forget, Chaz, I'm sure we're going to be hearing the legendary phrase once again, Haas Long, to die in cold.
Yeah, that's true.
I assume that we'll be hearing that again. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, Billy, again, I can only imagine how frustrating it was for Alan not to be able to depose some of these witnesses relating to that piece of evidence, and be forced to have it all just play out at trial. And we've got the luxury in the civil case to be able to really dig into that issue, and trust me, we intend to.
Does the location of John O'Keefe's body point to a concocted plan more than anything? The fact that it was on the edge of the lawn, like all the way down by the flagpole, and just enough off the curb and the road where that it might be plausible that he was hit and flew a little bit of a distance. It seems like, and also not really in view of Maine, except the plow driver at night who has giant floodlights. A regular car might miss it. All those pieces, sort of the location of the body says, might lead to concoction, yeah?
Well, the complaint alleges that once he was assaulted and hit his head, that at some point in the night, they took his body outside and created framed a crime scene outside.
All right, when lawyers speak, you have to listen very carefully to the words that they use. Charles just said John O'Keefe was assaulted, which is what they're going to show. He was assaulted, and then what happened. I want to rewind this for y'all so you can hear it. You gotta. We understand now which direction they were going to go. We were debating and going back and forth about in the last video. Was it an accident? Do they think it was an accident? Was he just pushed and then fell over? Was he in a fight with somebody and then he fell and hit his head? Listen to what Chaz has to say.
Might lead to concoction, yeah?
Well, the complaint alleges that once he was assaulted and hit his head, that at some point in the night, they took his body outside and created framed a crime scene outside. Now, to me, Billy, the most compelling evidence that this was a set up, framed crime scene outside is the snowplow driver, Mr. Leckren. He came by around 2:30 in the night, and with his lights, did not see a body in that spot, but he did see something at 3:30. He saw a car parked there, and according to him, it was very unusual to have a car parked there because the Alberts knew about the snow emergency, and they don't park the car up there, period, let alone in a snow emergency. So he found that to be odd. And then ultimately at 6 o'clock in the morning, when Karen finally came back and found Mr. O'Keefe in that spot, there was no car. So what happened to the car? We do think that and the complaint alleges that there was a setup and a framed crime scene in the front of that lawn.
I don't know who's on the jury, but they don't like Michael Proctor, the odds are. The guy has just shamed himself to such a degree. Is this a point that I missed from the criminal trial? Or in your suit, it claims that Proctor secretly communicated with the Alberts through his sister, allegedly passing along confidential information outside investigative channels. I didn't. Was that just something I'm missing? Or, I mean, it was out there. We all knew that?
Oh, yeah. That was part of that was a big part of his cross-examination. When I cross-examined him about the communications that he had.
He just thought that I'm going to go through my sister, maybe.
So that was a big part. He didn't have an answer for that. And that was one of the foundations on which the Massachusetts State Police found that he was in a complete violation of the duties and strictures of being a homicide investigator. It's completely improper. He was going through his sister to communicate with witnesses that we knew he should have absolutely no business communicating with.
I mean, Proctor wrote that Karen had zero chance of skating on this. She's effed 16 hours after O'Keefe's body was found, and before he had ever entered the Alberts home. By the way, he dropped his petition entirely to be reinstated to the Massachusetts State Police.
Billy, what about the statement, the Boston cop statement? What about that? Nope. He's a Boston cop too.
He's a Boston cop too.
That basically, in my view, that encapsulates, and that's in the complaint as well. That encapsulates nearly everything. If we had to pick one phrase, that encapsulates nearly everything about the cover up.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine this guy could be any more screwed in that area. And here he comes again. It's just you're gonna pull him out and depose him like crazy, right, Chaz? I mean, this guy. Is he the linchpin? Is he the first guy you go to? Is he the one that receives the most focus? Because I'm dying to hear more from him. And also Brian Higgins.
Easy money.
I have to stay away from providing strategy here, Billy. But I can tell you that as a party, we are going to depose Michael Proctor. And we're going to be thorough and complete on every aspect.
I'm sorry. Those depositions of Michael Proctor, yo, this guy needs to disappear. The depositions of Michael Proctor are going to be insane. Absolutely insane. I bet Alessi and specifically Yannetti wish they could be there. Sheesh.
Not just of his investigation, but his testimony on the first day, and that it will be a thorough and exhaustive deposition of Michael Proctor.
Yeah.
I mean, the things he said about her, that he was looking for naked pictures, that there were no nudes so far, hopefully she kills herself. Jesus, guy. Outside of sickening the jury once again and showing that, he's a depraved jerk with zero integrity and decency. How potent is that in court? The types of things he said about her personally.
Very.
Oh, jurors, my experience is that jurors recoil, and Alan saw it firsthand in the criminal case. I mean, they recoiled when Alan Alan crossed Michael Proctor, and they went through those text messages. It was disgusting. Jurors hate it, and cases sometimes are won and lost on these types of comments and text messages made by important witnesses, especially, and obviously this, the lead investigator is making these comments. The one who had access to all the evidence, the vehicle in the Sally Port, the clothes, that had access to all of that for days, that he didn't report his access. He didn't follow the guidelines relating to those clothes and keeping everything secure. So yeah, when it comes from the lead investigator, those types of comments, I think jurors are apt to be pretty disgusted.
And he rose through the ranks of the Massachusetts State Police. They promoted him, they protected him. The filing notes that you will likely include Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton. They'll be added, but what something standing in the way of adding them to the suit right now?
We have a procedural hurdle to jump over. There's something in the statutes in Massachusetts in which we've got to make a presentment of the claim. And the presentment has to be in a letter, has to be in writing, and sent to them. By statute, they have 6 months to respond. And once they respond, then we can name them in a lawsuit and file claims against them. So relating to both the Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton, we have claims against them that we're waiting to file, but we have to get through this presentment period first. We hope that is a quick process, and we'll be able to name them shortly.
Chaz Waters is Karen Reed's lawyer in her civil case against all these people.
Shout out to Chaz, man. I can't wait to see this play out. They're going to do such a good job. And those depositions of Michael Proctor, woo, they're going to be cooking that guy up, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.